Hello, my name is Mr. Rogers, and you're watching the video lecture for sound on 2-4. This is going to be parts anatomy of the human ear. So our lesson objectives for today, guys, are to be able to identify basic parts of our ear anatomy. So what's going on inside our ear that allows us to hear sound. And we've been talking about sound in class, so now it's about how do we hear sound. And to get started here, guys, right away, jump right into it. How do we hear sound? Well, remember, the sound waves are those compression waves, compressing and expanding. And as they get to your ear, your outer ear funnels that waves in, kind of acts like a funnel. And your middle ear has three tiny bones that kind of transmit those vibrations inward. And then the inner ear converts the sound waves into a form your brain can understand. That's where it attaches to nerves, goes to your brain, and your brain interprets it as sound. So let's start with our basic parts of the ear. It starts with the outer ear. This is the part you can actually see. The ear canal collects sound waves and directs them toward the eardrum, again funneling them inwards. And then you have the eardrum. The eardrum is a small, tightly stretched membrane, and its sound waves make it vibrate, kind of like a drum head. So sound waves vibrate off it. We'll talk about what happens next after that eardrum vibrates. But like a drum head, it's just a membrane stretched across, and as sound waves hit it, it vibrates, which is a big component of how sound travels. So where's this at? The outer ear, the pinna, that's part of the ear that you can see. You have your ear canal, where you're not supposed to put Q-tips there, going inwards here, carrying that sound waves. And then here, you can see you have the eardrum. That's that tightly stretched membrane that vibrates when sound hits it. So now next, we are on to the middle ear. The middle ear, for all you factoid people out there, contains the three smallest bones in the human body: the hammer, the anvil, and the stirrup. The hammer attaches to the eardrum, so when the eardrum vibrates, the hammer does too. So as that eardrum vibrates, those three bones are attached to it, and the vibrations travel through the three tiny bones toward the inner ear. So the hammer, the anvil, and the stirrup are these three tiny bones in your middle ear that help transmit, basically transmitting vibrations in toward your brain. So here we have those three tiny bones are right about here. You can see them right. I'll point to them first. Whoops. I'll point to them first. Here are those three bones in this diagram. And they are the hammer is first, the anvil, and the stirrup is right there. And they're named for pretty much what they look like. If you actually take them out, they kind of look like a hammer, an anvil, and a stirrup. And that's why they have the names that they do. So from there, guys, we go to the inner ear. So the inner ear, this is where that stirrup, that one of those tiny bones, vibrates, and it vibrates next to this fluid-filled cavity called the cochlea. The cochlea is filled with fluid, and thousands of tiny hairs are kind of attached to that fluid on the outside. These hairs are attached to nerve cells that detect these movements as the hairs kind of wobble from the vibrations. And then these nerve fibers carry the impulses to your brain that your brain interprets as sound, like my voice right now, my pleasant, pleasant voice, right? So this is the basics here of how sound gets from out in the environment to your brain, and you interpret it. So that inner ear then, let's kind of point this out here. The big thing here is you have the cochlea right here, kind of this semicircle, almost looks like a snail, I think, that's been attached to before. And so you see attached in green here, those nerves that attach to it, those hairs inside the cochlea, and these nerves will run to your brain, where your brain will interpret them as sound. And a couple things here. These tiny hairs, oddly enough, they have a lot to do with hearing, but also hearing loss. As you get older, you start to lose some hearing. We'll do a test today in class to see how good your hearing really is. That low range you can hear, excuse me, and that high range you can hear. As you get older, those hairs become brittle and they don't work as well. They don't vibrate as much, so they can't carry those impulses to the brain, and you naturally kind of lose that range of hearing. Oftentimes, that's why older people have to have a hearing aid, is they've lost a big chunk of their hearing. So, hearing loss is the last thing. Again, injury. If you have a head injury, that would knock the hammer, anvil, or stirrup loose. If you have, a lot of times you can hear about blowing out an eardrum from a loud noise explosion, sticking something in your ear. You could also damage that eardrum so it doesn't vibrate properly. Infections can cause hearing loss. Or like I said, just getting old, sometimes that also causes hearing loss too. So I thank you guys for watching today about the basic anatomy of the ear and how it works, and we'll see you guys along the way. Thank you.